Attention. Please be advised. The following episode contains spoilers. Don't say we didn't warn you.
What are they going to do?
Hey, this might be the next Land Before Time.
No! No! Don't you do that to my chomper!
What is, everyone? Welcome to another podcast you didn't need, but you deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome, even the ones who are lost.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Hey?
Or how many tears you cried,
Yeah.
whether you're a lost toy or not. You are welcome.
Yeah.
So today, we find our kid and explore the world of lost toys
Yeah.
in the fourth and possibly the final installment,
Question mark?
of the
Question
story of a cowboy and a spaceman that started an industry with Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
However, this one's much more about a cowboy.
Much more.
Much more about a cowboy.
It's more like cowboy and there's a spaceman, I guess.
Yeah. So we're talking about Toy Story 4 today. Let's get started. I'll introduce myself, and everyone else will introduce each other. We've done that a lot. We're like,
I can introduce you if you want.
No, my name is Tom.
Ali.
Caitlin.
Corey.
And I am Josh, and this episode is brought to you in part by the Nerd On Nation, powered by Patreon. Our patrons allow us to continue to make this show and keep the lights on. And if you are new to Patreon, Patreon is essentially a membership service in which you can support your favorite creators like us,
Maybe.
Nerd On. And for as little as $1 to $5 a month, you can get fun goodies like bonus episodes.
That's fifth a cup of coffee.
Do they get you?
That's less than a cup of coffee.
They can grope Ali
He just
Yeah.
for
goes
as
like
little
this.
as $1 or $5 a month.
That's
I do
not
it for free.
There's fine print. Read it.
Fine print.
Groping not
Anyway,
included.
check it out. nerdon.io/Patreon.
You did great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Nerd On Nation. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's great. So this is a complete film.
Yes, it is.
And so at the end we're gonna rate it. But today I want Ollie to explain our first segment.
Our first segment is Guess That
That
Grump.
All the shit he gives me for not knowing how to say it right, and this is what happens.
Wow.
I hate
Let's
you
try it
right
again.
now.
Can we put the sad trombone in?
No, it's not even
All
sad
right,
trombone. It's Ollie's
Let's try this.
trombone.
No. All right, guys, you ready?
Yeah.
Because it's time for Guess That Grump.
Sometimes the toys get lost. Who's the boss?
To be honest, I was so worried about getting the right segment that I forgot how to execute the right segment.
Today we're going to rate the movie.
All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back
So
to
now-
Guess
Let
That
me take
Grump.
notes.
Explain the Guess That Grump for everyone at home who's new to the show.
So Guess That Grump is a segment in our show where we everybody rates it 0 to 5. And if you have the lowest score out of everybody, that means that you are the Grump of the Week, even if that lowest score is a 4.9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a 5.
We encourage
Or a five.
everyone at home
We
to
have
play
a
along.
five. We have had a five Grump once.
It's not really a
Five
grump.
way.
Yeah.
We encourage everyone at home to play along. Send us who you thought would have been the grump, but also your numbers of the show, of the movie, or the thing that we're rating. Slip inside our DMs, Facebook, all the messages. If you're on our Patreon, you do it through Discord. All the things. Send us your numbers. We want to talk with you and get to know you a
Yeah.
little better and
All
get
right.
friendly.
I'm ready to take notes on the
So,
guesses.
Ollie, since you always explain it, you guess first.
As I always do it. I am going to guess Corey.
All right.
I do want to point out real quick
Yeah.
that we did have a poll on our Patreon.
We did.
Of who would be the Grump of this episode, and it is you,
You were
Ollie.
voted.
Zoe.
Yeah.
Like by a landslide.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
hardcore.
By a lot.
It's more of a scientific answer instead of
Tom,
more,
who's your grump?
It's going to my grump. My guess for grump is Corey.
He knows something.
No, we haven't talked at all. We filmed a pilot last week and we slept, and I went and saw this movie and came here. That's all I've
No,
done.
you filmed a pilot last week. I'm still filming.
Yes, true.
Oh.
Technically, though, we both did film
did
a pilot
film,
this week. Caitlin?
I think it will be Tom.
Ooh. I thought it was going to go me again. Josh?
Corey.
Ooh.
I put Corey instead of Josh.
It's okay, buddy. You'll sleep one day.
I'll sleep one of these days. I'll guess, you know what? I'll go with the patrons on this one. I'll go Ollie.
All
Just
right.
to
Corey.
support the
So you're getting
patrons.
some
Man of
representation.
people.
Patron's choice.
I think that
the patron's champion is Corey.
I think their vote should count.
Should be like
They
Randall
do.
Calrissian.
They do.
Like I mean, like it's like a 6th vote.
Did you just question
It
if
is.
they mattered?
Because they do.
We'll tally.
No,
them.
that
But
is
so,
not.
Okay, so right now we have 1 vote Ali, 1 vote Tom, 3 on Corey.
And
There we are.
And the,
Nothing on Kate
and the
and
Patreon
Josh.
vote is on
And Patreon
Ollie.
votes on Ali.
Yep.
Yes, Patreon votes. I didn't write it in. though.
So, with that being concluded, that
My
brings
vote
us-
was the Patreon vote.
will be we're going to talk about the complete spoiler of that is initial reactions or our first impressions.
Yes.
First
impressions.
Who's starting us off?
I'll start out. So Toy Story is it's a legendary property, and Toy Story 3 came out when I was in college, and that was by 2014. That's when I left. So it was probably like in 2013, 2012. I don't fucking remember. But I just know it was really, really important. You know, it was like the end of an era for Andy and Woody and Buzz. And
Oh,
all
sorry.
these-
Toy Story 3
Toy
came
Story
out
3.
7 years ago.
Yeah,
I was
so 7 years ago.
2012.
That can't be right. Oh my god.
And
Oh.
how's your
That's
back?
insane.
How's your back? But yeah, so it was a
Oh.
really big thing, and like this was Toy Story 4 was the movie that no one asked for, and for some reason we got it. So watching it, I was just like, let's see where the ride takes me, and I was really expecting kind of like a reintroduction of the world, kind of like a Toy Story 1 feel, and I got a completely different story out of it, and it was interesting what they were doing. It felt a little bit more like they were making this for people who have grown up instead of people who are trying to entry level get into Toy Story, which is the sequel game. But in the end, I felt like there was a there's a beginning, middle, and end, and it was like beautifully computer animated or computer generated animation. That's what it's called, a
Yeah.
CGA movie. And there were some parts where I wanted to cry, and I left where I was like, it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience where I didn't really know what to expect. Didn't even really watch. I think I watched like the trailers that happened to
You
play.
didn't even watch the first 3.
I didn't watch the first 3. No,
I didn't even
grew
know who
up-
these characters were.
I adore the first 3 movies. They're some of my favorite Pixar movies of all time. Like out of all of them,
Some would say one of them was the first.
one of them, I don't know. We'll talk about that maybe later. We'll rank our favorite Pixar movies. But I went into this kind of excited just because it looked really great, and I've been sort of out on Pixar for the last few movies that they've done. I haven't seen like the last 3 or
Coco?
4.
Cars
I still haven't
30.
seen Coco. I know Coco's really good,
Cars 30,
but I
yeah.
need to watch Coco.
Get out of this room.
But hey, it's
so you're
it-
still welcome.
it's like it was on the upswing, So I gotta
He was
catch
still on
that
that
still.
Frozen game.
Yeah, exactly. And
Fair.
Frozen 2's coming.
By the way, that new trailer.
Initial reactions.
Epic AF. But the movie was I really enjoyed it. It was very humbling. It played really well. I loved exploration of the characters, something that you never really thought that you could get that deep into thoughts of like kind of relationship, like long-term relationship stuff. I mean, we're talking about stuff that's been going for a couple decades now. And if you think about it, those characters are like 20 years old or whatever at this point. I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time, and it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
Jolly.
We can go around the circle.
Joshy.
Yeah.
I was because I was like, wait, they both said it. I didn't know what to expect. You're like, okay, 7 years later, the 3 movies that we got before were kind of a good wrap up. I grew up on Toy Story 1, so I hold it at a very. I was the older brother that watched my little brother, and there were literal days that we watched Toy Story just on repeat.
On that little white
Brainwashing.
clamshell.
Yeah. So I have been brainwashed.
They got you.
They got me. They gave me the Kool-Aid, and it was delicious. So I didn't know what to expect, but
Like, you like that? You want some more 20 years later?
I really, really enjoyed it. I walked out. I saw it twice, actually, and both times I walked out going, whoa. Because there were some
No,
adult...
you didn't. You went like a little.
There was some crying. But yeah, there were some thematic themes that were...
Thematic themes, huh?
Thematic themes.
Thematic themes.
Jesus.
What a concept.
Oh,
That's
God.
another one for the
I
Nerd
can
on Bingo.
speak.
Like retirement and late life stuff.
Yeah, there
I
was
was
some
like,
really cool
heavy.
stuff.
Getting
Anyway, the animation was amazing. It was fun to watch Toy Story 1 before this and then watch this and just how far
It's gone. It's
it
gone.
has come.
nuts.
I mean, the first scene with the rain,
Oh my god.
I was like, whoa. Okay.
Like that can't be.
Yeah, but I
That
really
can't
enjoyed
be.
it. That can't be.
That has to be a
Can't
photo.
be.
Corey?
Yeah, Caitlin, go ahead.
Wow.
He already knew what I was gonna say. That's why. I like the movie.
There it is.
I liked it a lot. Might even say love.
Wow.
Doesn't sound like you love
it's okay,
it.
you
Sounds
can
like
love it.
crying.
Yeah, you're right. I was crying, Tom. I cried a lot. I had a lot of emotions.
There was a
watching
lot of-
this
It's a big
movie.
moment for
Crying
her.
in nerd world.
There was a lot of whoa.
Yeah.
Oh. Aw. Whoa.
Some might say there was even a line that said, "Whoa."
Yes.
I'm gonna be the mimic for this, but yeah, I really did go in having no idea what was gonna get thrown at me because I was like, how can they?
The
How can
trailers
they?
didn't help either.
Not at all.
No.
And I was like, they ended everything so perfectly on 3. I thought that I was
They
like,
did, yeah.
where could we possibly go at this point?
But also,
Maybe even why.
Why did they go here?
right, but
Because people stop watching Pixar and they need
No,
them
well,
to
you
start.
stopped watching Pixar. You're not people.
I'm a perfect example.
fair.
But you, no.
But
Go on.
either way, the themes that they went into were it was one of
Thematic
those
themes.
the thematic themes. It was
You're never
it
gonna
was
live that
something
down,
that
Bubba.
like kids can watch it and be like, oh, everything's fun. Look at all these toys running around, and the adults are like, oh my god, that's me.
That's
That's
heavy.
my life. I have to worry about these things now. Like
Yeah.
Love the adults
What
as
is-
much as the toys.
You have to
Yeah.
worry about these things now. You should have been worrying about it if you grew up
The
with
dad
it.
was great.
Well, no,
dad.
like thinking you have all of your life figured out and that you know exactly what your purpose is for your whole existence, and then everything gets turned on its head. Like, that changes as you grow up. When we watched this 12 years ago, and how long ago was the first one? Like, we had
24 years.
I was like, I want to be an astronaut. Like, we had very different views of what our lives were going to be. And now that we watched, Toy Story 4, it's like, oh, there's life beyond what we thought life was supposed to be. And I thought it was great. A lot of great little thematic themes in there.
What are you laughing at?
Nothing. I'm just waiting for Corey to pop off. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, pop it off.
So, let me paint a picture for you. Let's say there was never ever a Toy Story film until this one. I would probably give this a 4 to 5 range because I'm very conflicted because it's a very good movie. However, there have been Toy Story films before this. In fact, there was a third film that was pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
And I felt a lot.
I'll have something to echo that, but we'll talk about that later.
And this, every turn it took were things I didn't care for and didn't want to happen to the characters. So
Interesting.
for me, this felt like an hour and 40 minutes of a lot of things I didn't like.
I'm very
And
interested.
this, and it's a good movie. It's a well-made movie, and the story's good, and the
Yeah.
arcs are there. Had it been other characters, I would have loved it. But these are the I was 6 when the first one came out. I was like the target audience
Yeah.
for Toy Story, and I was the target audience for Toy Story 3. Like I bawled my eyes out.
yeah.
That trash compactor scene, the incinerator scene in
bring
3
it up.
was like
I don't want
insane
to
to
cry
me.
right now.
And the ending of 3 was such a bittersweet, like hopeful, like a bittersweet hopeful ending. And this for me was not. This was the opposite of what I wanted to happen to these toys.
Aw.
This is the closest I've been to walking out of a movie in my life.
What?
At the end of this film.
Whoa.
Oh my god, I picked so wrong.
I picked so right.
So that's that.
No, it's
I
great.
didn't.
I mean, you,
I didn't think this was a necessary story to tell either. So the whole time I was sitting there going, "Why are we
Why?
telling this?" And I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I have a theory. I have some reason. I think I have a reason why specifically, but I'll echo a little bit of what you're talking about later on.
yeah.
That's it.
So that pretty much tells everyone what we thought might have been right about Guess That Girl.
Well, here's the thing. When the trailer was launched,
It's a different movie.
I mean, you already had kind of spoken your
Why?
piece
Yeah.
when the trailer dropped.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean I'm still a why.
But
and I still am a why.
I went
sometimes.
in being really hopeful because I had heard a lot of good things about it. So
Could
I
have
went
been
in,
wrong, yeah.
dropped my baggage at the door, and walked in. But I couldn't. The film couldn't answer the question of why are we telling this story from? Why are we revisiting these toys now? What are we saying? And it wasn't a good enough reason to not end with 3 for me.
So that leads us to some synopsis.
Yeah,
Some
brief
brief
synopsis.
synopsis. Josh is going to
yeah,
try.
I'm going to take a crack at it. Essentially, the movie starts off 9 years before the events of this film, and it's a rescue of RC car. And then a rescue ensues. Bo Peep, eventually the rescue ends, and Bo Peep is actually given to somebody, like probably a Craigslist ad or something like that. Then we transfer 9 years ahead. Woody is no longer the favorite. That's sad. And
Or in
this is
charge.
actually like the same year as the third one took
So
place.
2012, yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, Bonnie is going off to kindergarten. And while there, she makes our new character, Forky. And Forky doesn't want to be a toy. He's trash. He's trash. Trash. Trash,
At
trash,
least
trash.
he thinks he is.
At least he thinks he is.
I can relate.
Yeah. Eventually, Bonnie goes to kindergarten. It's the orientation. She finishes kindergarten. A road trip ensues. Forky escapes. Woody has taken it upon himself to guard or watch over Forky because Forky keeps trying to get away. They get out of the RV that this road trip has been on, and while they are away, Woody teaches Forky the importance of being a toy and what he means to Bonnie and blah, blah, blah. Eventually, they end up in an antique store because Woody saw Bo Peep's lamp. So he went in there to kind of investigate.
All these years later.
All these years later. 7 glorious years. 9 glorious years. I forgot she was a lost toy for 7 glorious years. Eventually, creepiness ensues because there are some creepy toys in the antique shop.
It's Charlie McCarthy dolls.
Yeah,
It's Slappy from.
it's
fucking
Slappy
Goosebumps.
from
Which
Night of
is
the Living
Charlie,
Dummies.
Charlie
Love
McCarthy.
Eventually, Woody is taken from the antique shop by the kid. I forget her name. Harmony. Molly?
Harmony.
Taken to the park. And he's trying to get back to the antique store because his main mission for this movie is to try to get Forky back to Bonnie because Forky is so important.
Shout out to your wife.
Eventually, he gets reunited with little Bo Peep, which is pretty dope. She's been living the freedom life of a lost toy. She's totally happy about it. Going back. Everybody's brought together. And there's a big rescue again in the antique shop.
Hilarity ensues.
Hilarity
Heist
ensues.
Surgery
Keanu Reeves ensues. More rescuing.
and villain
more
rede-
escaping.
Villain redemption
More
ensues.
rescuing.
Yes,
Yeah.
villain redemption ensues.
RV hilarity ensues.
Yes.
Dad almost goes to jail.
Dad's going to use some words now.
Yeah.
Gabby has some redemption in which she is given to a little
lost
girl.
child.
A lost child. Which
Much
is
like
kinda,
her.
Yeah, much like her. So that's cool. But the big event is that Woody stays with Bo Peep.
And
Spoilers.
he's no longer lost, but he is found.
Yes, he's found.
Amazing.
Oh my god. Oh
What
my
the
god.
fucking- that was that's what I was like, cue
Or
Amazing
I
Grace.
will remember.
No.
Oh.
But yeah, everybody parts ways, and
That guy gets a high five.
the guy finally gets a high
Combat
five.
Carl.
Post credits. There was some mid credits. Woody and friends are now trying to
Free toys.
free toys to kids.
They're freedom fighters.
Yeah, they are freedom.
No
freedom
agenda
fighters.
at all, guys. Just cartoon movie.
Yeah, but
And-
Commando Carl finally does get his high five.
He does.
Yes, he does.
It's the
Yes, he
best.
does.
Good job. That was like a second.
Yeah.
So,
We actually got more time
who's
for the episode.
who's doing the production? Let me do it.
Sure.
I could if you want me to. It doesn't matter.
There's a lot.
There's
so
a lot.
Why
Go
don't you
for
do it?
Okay. So it's distributed by Disney. It's a production company by Pixar. Director is Josh Cooley, who's never did any type of feature film. This was his first one. He worked on Up and Inside Out as an actor and on other Toy Story shorts. Producer was Jonas Rivera, who did Up and Inside Out. Mark Nielsen, who's the associate producer for Cars 2, Inside Out, Riley's First Date, which is a short film that he met with Jonas Rivera. Story was John Lasseter and Rashida Jones, but John Lasseter, we all know from Toy Story 1 and 2, creator of Luxo, the little Pixar lamp thingy, produced a majority of all the Pixar films. Rashida Jones, we all know as mainly an actor, who's really got into the producing biz. Mainly, I want to go her producing credits is she did Nosedive on Black Mirror, Hot Girls Wanted TV docuseries, and a Quincy Jones show.
I think a documentary, right? Quincy Jones documentary. Because it's her dad.
Will McCormick, who has mainly acted but wrote Celeste and Jesse Forever, an episode of A to Z, also a story writer. Screenplay was Stephanie Folsom, who did Star Wars Resistance TV show, and this was her first feature. Next, the other screenplay writer was Andrew Stanton, who did Toy Story 1 and 2, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, and Toy Story 3. This being, Toy Story 3. The cast is Tom Hanks. We all know, but more specifically from non-Woody roles, he did Saving Private Ryan, Castaway, The Terminal, and Big. Tim Allen
Forrest Gump.
Tim Allen, who is a Santa Claus, Home Improvement, Last Man Standing TV show, Jungle to Jungle, Galaxy Quest. Annie
Yes.
Potts, who is the original Bo Peep, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
Who
in
was
Pink.
also in Pretty in Pink, Ghostbusters, as the
Secretary.
secretary, who I had the biggest crush on in the movie.
Yeah. 100%.
And Designing Women TV show. Keegan Michael Key, who did Key and Peele TV show. Keanu movie with him and Jordan Peele. Predators and Let's Be Cops. Jordan Peele, who was mainly, in terms of, I want to talk about the voice acting stuff other than his directing work. Bob's Burgers, Twilight Zone, and producer of Black Klansman. Tony Hale, who's the voice of Forky, Arrested Development, going to Army Mother.
Yes.
Veep, and the upcoming Harley Quinn TV show, which I think is animated.
Oh.
Madeline McGraw, who played Bonnie, the little girl, who is in American Sniper, Outcast TV show, and Bones. Christina Hendricks, who plays our antagonist, is in Mad Men, Drive, Neon Demon, and voices Unity in Rick and Morty. Keanu Reeves, this is the Keanu-san, so he's in Cyberpunk 2077.
He's in everything.
He's in everything. We already talked about him this year.
Possibly the MCU.
Yeah. And Ali Mackey, voice of the mom, Cloak and Dagger, and Dear White People. No, she's the voice of Gibby Gabby, the little Polly
Gabby
Pocket
Gabby.
girl.
Oh, okay.
Gabby
Yeah.
Gabby. Dear White People TV
No,
show.
Gabby's the
Yeah.
Giggles.
Yeah.
Giggles. There you go. And Rec TV show. Jay Hernandez plays Bonnie's dad. Magnum Pi, Suicide Squad, and Hostel. Lori
Magnum PI?
Magnum Pi, PI.
Yeah.
Lori Allen, who's in SpongeBob as Pearl. AP Bio TV show.
Whoa.
Family Guy
Nice.
as Diane Simmons. Joan Cusack from Gross Point
Jessie,
Blank.
yeah.
Jessie. And Working Girl, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and In and Out.
And High Fidelity.
And High Fidelity. Along with, these are the names who were all in there, which is like, this is a
Just
it's
name
animated.
the names, yeah.
Kristen Schaal, Wallace Shawn, John Ratzenberger, Blake Clark, Carl Weathers, Don Rickles, Estelle Harris, Betty White, Bill Hader, Timothy Dalton, Mel Brooks.
Wow.
Carol
Runtime,
Burnett,
crazy.
Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
runtime 100 minutes, released June 21st, 2019. Budget $200 million. Gross worldwide $241.6 million.
So did it right.
My gravy.
Got its money back already in 3 days.
Did it
98% critic score, a 95% audience score. And then the notes say here, thank you, review, nerdon.tv.
I think this is the longest production
Yeah, I
thing that
think
we've
so.
had.
Well, it's
That's a
animation.
lot.
Yeah.
It's animated. And we haven't done an animated movie in a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Actually. But yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about the lore, and I want Corey to have a chance to talk a little bit Easter eggs he might have seen that you might have
yeah.
not checked out already.
So many.
But Toy
Only
Story,
a few. There's a ton.
Toy
So
Story
many.
is like the Pixar movie. Like Pixar first came out, Steve Jobs got ousted by Apple and then made Pixar and wanted to go into storytelling and when made Pixar. And John Lasseter, who was the director for this, pretty much became like the ingenieur. And I say ingenieur as like the British way of, the person who develops magic.
Yeah.
A Pixar. And a funny thing is that Toy Story almost was the franchise that never was, because Toy Story 2 was almost going to be a straight to home video. And Steve Jobs says, go fuck yourself, because Steve Jobs is Steve Jobs. Or was Steve Jobs, because he's dead.
Oh.
And we have pencils on iPads. And he said, everything has to be special. Everything has to be special. And he did that and made, Toy Story 2. And then that really put them on the market for, hey, CGA, computer generated animation films can be a thing. And because of Toy Story came out, opened the Academy Award to doing CGI or animated films as Academy nominations. The first film to ever get an Academy Award for, an Oscar for Best Animated Film was Shrek. And it was only because a year before that, Toy Story came out.
Wow.
And without Toy Story, Mike Myers, all these other stars would never have taken animation seriously. So Toy Story, as we've said before on the show, with talking about Batman the animated series, it's a world beginner, world starter,
Yeah.
show closer.
Wait, hold on. Toy Story 2, you mean?
Toy Story 1 was a big one where it's like,
That was 95. Shrek didn't come out till 2001.
well, because of the boom of that.
Oh,
later
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, not
It wasn't
a
a year before.
Not a year before.
Yeah.
Sorry. But it was like a big boom because that was like when people, because it started taking like Academy, not Academy, industry level professionals
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
But after Toy Story 2, that's the specific.
Yeah.
After Toy Story 2, they were always in production. Pixar was a small little boutique company, and every production was always a 2-year long thing. Husbands never saw their wives never saw their husbands. People just never saw their families because they were always on the next one. And it wasn't until after Finding Nemo, I believe, because they did Monsters Inc. and they did Finding Nemo, they were like, we can't just do Pixar. We can't do this. We have to enlist, because Disney had full rights to distribution. So we had to enlist Disney writers and story makers to be the directors for the new ones. They had to start working that'd be industried up.
Right.
By that time, Steve Jobs had left. He still, oversaw a lot of production, main chief officer. But that's when the working between Disney and Pixar of like we're getting Disney writer to do the next Pixar film, then the Pixar guy is going to take a year off to do the next Pixar movie, and then we got this every other year. The Pixar movie was going to be great, and then every other year the Pixar wasn't going to be great. So that was kind of like the big thing with this, but it all came from Toy Story. It all came from Toy Story.
Yeah, it was a phenomenon.
It was huge, and the first original like renderings, you can look it up online, weren't great looking, and Tom Hanks and Tim Allen weren't like really hesitant. But it wasn't until like they later on just like we're just working actors, and then got into it. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It
Just
started
very-
something. Started something.
Snowball,
Any
as they say.
any Easter eggs you might have saw, Corey?
A few, and there's a lot more you can look up online, but the ones I actually saw with my eyes before
of them.
looking it up. Yeah. The grape soda lid that Bo Peep's sheep bringer is the pin from Up, like the badge that makeshift badge he makes him. There's a ton inside
The antique shop.
antique
Oh,
shop, but the
sure.
only one I actually saw was the snorkel mask from Finding Nemo. The green, it says their address in Sydney, Australia. The gas station that they stop at to get gas is Dinoco from Cars. And then when the Carney
And
finds Buzz, the
Toy Story
tattoo
1
on
also.
his back of his leg is the Pizza Planet truck from Toy Story 1.
Apparently, in the antique store, Pixar says they have a record breaking of how many Easter eggs they have in one.
Yeah,
location.
there's also
my
the
gosh.
animal box from Bug's Life.
Mhm.
There's the walking cane from Up. There's 10 other things.
There's
they
like
named in
gum
there.
from Inside Out.
Yeah.
And it's like that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's nuts. But those are the only 4 I found myself, and I was very proud of myself.
Let us know what you
Nice.
found if you're listening to this right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
What was your favorite Easter egg?
What does that move us to? Favorite parts?
I think that was
Favorite
the
parts?
I'll
Yeah.
start because I feel like I have
He has
to.
one.
No. I loved the.
I love how
Buzz's-
you opened your book to close it.
Well, I looked at it.
Okay.
Buzz's inner voice was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Loved
Yeah.
it. Loved him discovering. He's like, oh yeah, I guess I do have an inner voice. Like so literally.
Who is it?
And it worked so well. And then at the part where he's like freaking out because he doesn't know what it says.
Go back to base.
Yeah, and he's like, your backpack's in the antique shop. Let's go. And she's like, oh, my backpack. Thought that was brilliant. And I also really liked it's a little attention to detail thing. It's a mole on the neck. It's when the mid-credit scene, when it's doing like the circle in and Forky's eye shifts,
shifts.
and so
Yeah,
the circle
the
shifts
circle
shifts.
as well,
Too
which I thought
close.
was a brilliant little touch.
That was always such a great comedic moment whenever his eye would shift
Pop
or
off.
something.
Which
or
is
pop off. Like when he was
slightly
first
moved to
introducing
the
him.
side.
Yeah. Like I thought that was done really well.
Oh, yeah.
I think his whole character was done really well.
Yeah.
I will say all the exteriors are stupid good looking.
Yeah.
Stupid. That's the one thing
Yeah.
where I was like when the credits or when the movie started, I was like, it was the first breathtaking moment. It was my
Yeah.
first Keanu moment. I was like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
we've come so far.
I was like,
we've come
wait, is
so
this
far.
another trailer for like a live action? And I was like, oh damn.
Mine was like the first shot of the
With the
antique
ring.
store.
Oh.
No, when right when they came into the antique store, I was like, this looks too good.
It's photorealistic.
It's photorealistic.
I was like,
The dust particles and
Yeah.
I
I,
was
mean,
just-
like when you get obviously when you get like closer to things, it looks more CG, but like just the establishing shot of the interior,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, oh my God.
I was like really impressed with the water drain sucking up RC. I was like, if you took
Yeah,
RC out, I was
that
like, this
was
looks real.
insane.
oh yeah.
And I was like, but
The
also
lighting effects.
again, that's what you do. You hide your stuff in dark.
One of the
and
most
rain.
amazing
Like,
in that
what's
sequence was when Woody was laying, when Andy was looking for him and he was laying on the driveway.
Yeah.
The way the lights from the house shine down,
reflections
you were like,
good?
and-
Leaked off. Yeah.
whoa.
That's actually, if I could piggyback off you, that's actually my favorite part of the movie is that beginning scene.
When they explain what happened to Bo Peep when we all asked the question in the third movie.
Exactly.
the rain.
Well, they set up the question.
Yeah. Well, they answered the question that we all asked fucking
Well,
years
no.
ago.
I mean, I guess I'll play then the devil's advocate of that conversation, which is like it was cool to see a glimpse into a different time that we didn't really get to see because we kind of I don't really remember what happened to Bo Peep in 2 or 3.
They don't
Was
explain
she
it.
in 2?
She was in 2.
Yeah.
And then
She,
3,
she
they don't
was
explain
she was
it.
really relegated as a side character in 2.
Yeah. And then
3
3,
was
she's
because
not
she's
even
not Andy's toy, and it was all Andy's toys.
there. Yeah.
I did. I mean, that was the line. You need. It's like that's the kid. Molly's the
Yeah.
girl. Molly's
I
the
mean, it
girl.
was starting from that moment where she said, "I'm not Andy's toy," and then like the moment they had, and he had to make a decision.
But you know
in
what's
that
fucked
moment.
up is that Andy plays with her. Not Andy's toy, but you play with your little sister.
Hey.
You fucked up, boy.
You never play
still
with
enjoy
your
it?
sisters?
At a certain age, I mean, I did the same because they
Boundaries.
want
You
your
never play with your
parents want you to play
sisters'
together.
Barbies?
Nope. Because
I
she would
doubt
probably
that.
destroy all my.
I did.
She would destroy all
There
my
you go.
toys if I played
Thank
with her.
you.
I did 100%.
Personal
Same.
property. But, go ahead, Josh.
I loved when
Keanu Reeves, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Was that
Next?
actually it?
No. I loved Buzz's kind of not escape, but getting out of the RV and his kind of run across the carnival, and then like
What is it with
through
people
the
jumping
air.
out of windows?
Yeah.
But his bounce, all that stuff.
The Commando Carl bit just
You know how cool?
made me chuckle a little.
cool
just like,
tidbit?
aw.
That name came from Tom Hanks.
Oh, really?
Because when they were coming out with the first Toy Story movie, he was like, "Oh, we had to create like a GI Joe, but they couldn't use the word GI Joe." So he was like, "How about Combat Carl?" Because they wanted to get, I think he wanted to get Carl Weathers then,
Oh,
and then he's like, "We can't use that name," and so they just had the little GI Joes, right?
Yeah.
the little army men,
Army
which we
men.
don't see in this one. But then so that's why it stuck, and I was like, "Oh, what's his name going to be?" It's like, "Oh, it's still Combat Carl." Holy fuck!
Yeah.
yeah.
And it got
Well,
Carl Weathers.
they say the word Combat Carl in the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So,
Yeah.
When they're trying to guess the present?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? A Combat Carl?
It was such a little scene. It lasted for so little time, maybe a couple of minutes. But when Woody was,
that's usually how
in
long
the-
a scene is.
I'm not gonna win. It's cool. Next,
Just pay him to no
continue.
What's your thematic
it
theme?
says the thematic theme of the closet when the toys are kind of the old toys. And I just thought it was cool that it was Betty White, Mel Brooks, Carol Burnett, Carl Reiner, all of these like comedian legends that, and all of the names are like plays on their names, but the clock just cracked me up. He was
Yeah.
like, but who's counting?
There's
I am.
I am.
There's something there's something I liked about that scene as well as when he got the dust bunny on him.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly they kind of break it later on, which will be one of my columns later on. But it's like how he couldn't get it off of him, and they made it more like in narrative wise. It's like it's a hindrance that he can't take off. But I was like, oh, this is the reality, right? Like because he has a dust bunny, it's like it's part of him now because he has to be relegated to the closet, and the only person that could take it off is probably Bonnie.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought was going to happen.
But then
I was
it's
like, nope,
just gone.
Nope. All of it gone. But I did like a lot of the statements they were making about a child's attachment to emotions and experiences and coping mechanisms. It's very reminiscent of like Inside Out and how we latch onto memories and what those memories mean to us. Is it a happy memory or a sad memory? And what we need to do to cope. It's like it's not the cowboy toy, but it's the toy that you make. And it's pretty much like a creation of your own thing. It's like, look, a Buzz Lightyear toy, I'm still going to say is probably the most production value toy like to have. Like it's a real dope action figure that fucking has voice and all that shit. Batteries.
Yeah.
I had it, dude.
I had it too, and my sister broke
the
it.
real thing. My
Oh,
sister did not.
no.
She played with Woody because he was just a rag doll.
I think, I mean, we'll talk about this more probably in Qualms, but I think it set up a lot of themes that it didn't really pay off or really do anything with. Like there's a lot of setup work around, and then it felt like maybe it didn't.
Well,
they
yeah, I
didn't
mean,
really
like,
utilize. They didn't utilize like it was there.
you
and
mean
then
that
they didn't
childhood thing?
utilize- Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's more about like it's more again. This is like as Josh talked about. It's more, and I hate to say this word, but it's a has-been story. This is a has-been story of like time has passed. This is the fucking
we got that.
a Star is Born story. Like I used to be this great guy, and I just want to live the good days. You don't have the good days anymore,
But
bitch.
yeah, but we'll talk more about that later.
But I mean, I did like that as well. With that, it's like, okay, this is where they're going to take the Woody character because, like, again, what story do you have left to tell? And this is the story they want to go with. I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. And you know, they pretty much point the fingers. Everyone at home got the spoiler word in the beginning, but it's like how Woody doesn't find he has a purpose anymore, and like that's his main motivation. It's sad, it's pathetic because it's supposed to be, and it's
Yeah.
like Woody's now this piece. No, he's not a piece of shit, but it's like he's latching on to the only thing he could possibly do because he wishes he was Forky as much as he was. And it's kind of like, okay, let's see that. And it turns into a completely Woody story or a Woody movie.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, okay, cool. I want to see where this goes and how they, tackle that on. But it was just interesting to see where that character went versus like how him and Buzz were kind of like the 1-2 punch. Anyways, go on. Caitlin hasn't gone yet.
One of my favorite bits was actually the horror esque scene of Gabby like making Woody and Forky go through the on
carousel?
the stroll.
That was
Yeah,
very
in the
very
stroller.
like gangsterish to me.
Yeah.
was.
Very
It
mafia.
was like both combination of like a horror movie and mafia.
It's like that would
And-
be a limo, basically.
Yeah, it would be a limo, and it's like the kid who got in. It's like, you're gonna do this job for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I liked it only because it was like kid level of scary because I don't like being actually scared, but I was like, this is just scary enough, and I'm not scared for real, and won't have any nightmares later.
I will hold your hand and agree with that because there's something to there's something to like a comedic take on horror.
Yeah.
Like a Halloween horror as opposed to the kind that I don't typically like.
Because especially with
I really enjoy.
The dummies or
The
what?
dummies.
I hate
So
ventriloquist dummies.
Hate is a strong word.
Hate.
Dummies are welcome here too.
That's
I used
fine,
to take classes.
but I don't like that.
I had a
The-
Charlie McCarthy and How Do You
The
Do.
dummy books were my favorite Goosebumps books.
Yeah.
growing
Slappy.
up. And so I was delighted to see them. And
Yeah,
I
it was
was
fun.
even further delighted when the dummies were actually dummies.
Something else
Can't even talk because they're ventriloquist.
Something I really liked as well, which I thought was like, I don't know if this is retcon or not. I probably have to rewatch it, or you guys can tell me right now. Changing Bo Peep to porcelain.
She's always been porcelain.
She's always been porcelain,
Yeah.
but she's never
Yeah.
been that shiny.
Well, I don't think they had the CG
Yeah,
to
but
do
she's
it.
The
shiny
lighting.
as fuck.
Yeah, but
And I was like-
she's always made that sound because
It's
she's
like
always been part of a lamp.
It's like when you saw Woody's clothes in Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, that looks like actual denim as opposed to blue.
yeah, I think that's all it
Fair.
was. But she always made that ding, ding, ding sound, and she was part of a lamp.
Okay.
So.
Because I was like, my God. And I mean, I like the piece with the arm
Correct me
thing
if I'm
and the
wrong, but I
sticker.
think in the first one when she like hooks him, his neck makes the like tink sound from
Oh, maybe.
the bow staff.
I just remember Andy slapping a T-Rex like an asshole. Like, Jesus, destroy your toys.
I'm only a couple of blocks away. We'll talk about that too.
I also liked Bo Peep being a badass.
Yeah.
And being,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you're a lost toy. I'm so sorry. She's like, it's great.
Yeah.
I'm living the life now. And his confusion over that, I don't know. I just really enjoyed their interactions of her being like, I'm an independent lady now.
It reminded me
It's
a lot
great.
of like Woman in Wilderness Can Do, you know, like
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
like adjusted to like the wildlife and like the city man who's like, I don't know how to do things without
Yes.
running water. And it's like, you get it from the waterfall. It's like the
We're
fuck?
going glamping, right?
But I like that. And I mean, I liked that there was kind of this world of lost toys ish where it's like,
I dug
here's this
that
little
too.
toy.
Yeah.
Polly Pockets.
Gibby
Yeah.
Gabby.
So I love
It's not
both
Gabby.
versions.
Giggles.
Where the fuck?
Gabby's
Oh my
the fucking
God.
villain, dude.
Okay, whatever.
I loved
Giggle
both versions.
McDimples.
I loved the version in the antique store where they were just like huddled together in that nightclub thing. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I really like that pinball machine
Yeah.
thing, little thing.
Yeah.
That was nice.
And then the other group of lost toys, which is the one with Bo Peep, who are like this like quote unquote traveling circus of lost toys that are just trying to find kids that want to play with them. And I was like,
I almost felt
they're
like,
like, there's a party on
campers.
9th or whatever they said.
I
Yeah.
almost felt like if they wanted to go super thematic, like how Lego does, where it's like each world's their own thing. Like the people in the sandbox were like Mad Max, were like kids, and then the people who were in the nightclub were like Blade Runner-y, where it was like we're all so high on like living the life and all
Yeah.
stuff. But it's like when a real kid comes, like
I saw your better half out there. You mess
Yeah.
with the cat, you get the claws.
I did like how they called it.
I
a
love his
drag.
attitude.
Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah, that's what I get.
I liked Keanu Reeves specifically, how he wasn't a badass.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
he was a very doubtful human being because like this is Ikeana-sans, but so far he's only been pretty badass. And I'm like, let's see some other things because you know he wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
You know, he's played romantic heartthrob and all that stuff where he's like this weird guy, or like in Hardball where he's like a
Yeah.
druggie. He's like, I don't know what to do with these kids.
Yeah. I was actually it was a breath of fresh air at having Keanu like that because
And he says,
we are in the Keanu sense, and it's everything that we've seen have been kind of like not really a parody of himself, but it's really like you've got badass Keanu, you've got
Himself.
Well, he's
playing
playing
Keanu.
a version of himself. Kind
and
of
then he's kind of a dope-ish, and so it was kind of cool to get that a different Keanu in
Yeah,
this.
Bill
so
and Ted.
It's cool to see
Yeah.
him. It's
What
cool
was
to
his owner's name? Remind me.
It's like it's an
Duke
F name.
Kaboom?
Rajan?
Yeah.
Oh, Rajan.
I
Rajan.
think. I think.
Rajan. I think that's
I
it.
think.
Yeah, it was like a French name. Or he said
Rajon.
with some
So
kind of
good.
accent.
So good. Of course, it's French.
We.
I did like that they made Gabby again, and we've kind of been dealing with this all year. It's like she's not a villain; she's an antagonist,
Right.
and they make it like they do the fucking like, hey, I'm going to give you my voice box thing, and that's what she wants and what she needs. And because it's like cool, it doesn't have to be like I beat the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we can make peace by sacrificing something and like whatever. And I did also like that she got her fucking karma for it. And it's like she got thrown away. I'm like, because in my mind, I was like, if they just give her away and she fucking takes it, it's like she hasn't learned anything.
Yeah.
She hasn't learned anything about herself.
Actually, yeah,
She
I
got
put in her place
I
for a second.
semi-rescind my critique on the themes, because it does follow through. Like the whole thing, they're establishing Forky as the thing that is made of garbage, but means the world to Bonnie. Yet, in the same vein, they have Gabby, who's like wanting to make herself the best toy that she can possibly be, the shiniest toy that she can possibly make herself, and then it means nothing to that.
Well,
little girl.
she puts Harmony on this pedestal, and that's the only thing she wants. But it's like, what happens when you get what you want? You never get. And to me, I always.
Well, she doesn't. That's the thing.
And that's the thing. It's
Because
like
it didn't matter if her sound box worked.
typically good writing, as I've been told, and I like this. I want to go by this. Is like in a good writing, you don't get what you want. You get what you need. And what you need is a lesson. And you first need a lie. And the lie that Gabby has, I got the name right. Gabby, she's like, she needs to be owned by Harmony only.
Right.
Yeah.
Harmony is the perfect kid. And Woody also has to come to fact.
Because she looks like the kid in the book.
in the book. Yeah. And that's like a predisposed thing that she wants to fulfill.
There should have been another.
It might be harmonious, but it's
Oh.
There should have been another
right.
post-credit scene that showed Woody just tapping Gabby on the shoulder, being like, "So if you're not using that voice box, do you mind if I get it back?"
We'll talk about that.
She did offer to give it back, but
Did she?
yeah.
She did. She's like, I'll give it
can
back.
have
I
it
don't
back
need it
now.
anymore. It's
Oh,
like,
and that
bitch,
scene.
that
Yeah, yeah,
surgery already happened.
No, I meant like, okay, that's your mopey scene. I meant like,
Yeah.
actually.
The
Yeah.
real thing.
Oh my God, Bunny and Ducky.
Key and Peele.
yeah.
Yes, the lasers at the
Oh, at the
end and
plush
like
rush?
destroy plush rush.
I just love that they're connected by the hand by 2 threads
They
of
have to
string,
hold
which is
hands all
totally
the
a
time.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a fantastic like attention to detail. And
I had toys
something
like
to-
that.
thing to
2 stuffed
introduce.
animals stuck
Because it could have
together
just
with
been
2 pieces
It could
of
have
string.
been
Call
2
those
stuffed
toys.
animals. But the fact that like it's probably one of the animators or a writer like saw it and was like, "That's hilarious."
happening.
Yeah.
yeah. Favorite
Oh,
characters?
It's just great.
Yeah. So we'll do main characters who would be
Woody.
Bo Peep,
Andy's
Bo
toys.
Peep.
and
Andy's family's
Forky.
toys.
Forky, and maybe Gabby.
Okay, Forky and Gabby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the side characters are everyone else.
Mine's Woody and the dad is
And
the
the
side
dad.
character.
Jay Hernandez.
Wow, you knew that immediately.
I wrote it down.
Oh, that's right.
I write all my notes down.
That's why he
That's
comes with a
smart.
notebook. Where's yours?
I don't have one.
You had one earlier today.
Oh,
before
yeah,
we
I
recorded.
did.
Pulling the curtain back, guys.
See how much time I saved?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, obviously Woody because it's a Woody story. I don't think I could. I didn't relate to Forky. I don't want to throw myself away yet. And then the dad had some of my favorite lines in the whole thing, and he was the most expressive of the side characters, I guess.
Jay Hernandez,
like when
baby.
he's freaking out about the car and like has to talk to the cop and stuff. I just thought it was great. So those two.
You recently watched Suicide Squad. He's El Diablo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that everyone actually liked.
I actually like that character.
Caitlin?
It's 'cause he
Woody,
didn't have
Forky,
lines.
Bo Peep, Gabby.
I'm thinking of how to word
Josh.
Wow. How to word why I chose what I chose. Forky is my favorite character. And kind of because he's a little bit hapless. And he's just like, I'm this one thing. And I'm like happy to be this one
when he
thing.
keeps
And then
falling.
yeah. Like just running towards the same like seemingly that's
love the
like all
dragging.
his life should ever be is this one thing. And then because of the people around him, he realizes that, oh, I can be something else. And that's like warm and comforting too. And I like finding joy out of that. So I liked Forky for that reason. And
Not
then,
even that he realized he could be something else. He just realized everything else is trash too.
Yeah.
In a sense, I mean that in a
That's the best
positive
part
way.
about it.
Because he says like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
her trash."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I'm trash to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Which
maybe
it's called projection.
the mode of like realizing things is like because I
Which at the
I
end-
realize things in similar ways to Forky, which is a little sad to admit, but whatever. What were you
true.
saying? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say at the
Anyways,
end
Caitlin, go on.
they don't follow through with that, and then he is a toy. He
Yeah.
identifies as a toy at that point, but maybe it's
Yeah,
takes
I
time
know what you're saying.
to identify as a toy.
Is Ollie fighting back to be
He's
the
just
grump?
But he
Just
should have
using the
he should have been
verbiage.
like, no, trash is good. We
Yeah.
want to be trash. We're
Yeah.
her trash.
Yeah,
You know,
that
kinda-
the trash theme kind of went poof.
Yep.
Basically,
He
until
could
the
have
very
been,
end.
There's
"You're my
another-
trash."
Dust Mite and the trash.
gonna bring
those
you
are
The
down
one I
ones-
rescinded was replaced.
Jesus.
A side character.
Any
I
other
don't know
toy.
why, but I really like the old lady that
Or
was running
parents.
the antique shop. Like,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
granny that got killed 3 times.
I know. I don't know. It's probably because of those like not real scenarios of like her like having a glass of wine and sitting in the tub and like I don't know. It was
and they
hilarious. to
kill
me.
her every time.
Yeah.
I know, but it was I don't know.
kill
She
her
was
though?
nice. Yeah.
I guess we can
They
in
just
an
call her.
alternate universe, like what happens.
It must
At the end?
The only
Yeah.
possibility
They
in
killed
that
her.
scenario is a smothering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you die?
Would you?
Josh
Wow.
or Ali?
Anyways, speaking of killing old ladies,
Keanu Reeves and Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
Speaking of killing old ladies, is that what you said?
Yep.
no,
No. I really
I like you,
enjoyed Bo Peep. I enjoyed her character a lot.
Yay.
I dug her, and I love Annie Potts. So,
Yep.
and then
Easy.
side character, I've always loved Jessie. She wasn't really in this movie all that much, but her energy, her excitement.
Joan Cusack.
Yeah,
man.
it's Joan Cusack
You
too.
can't go
so-
wrong with the Cusacks.
No.
You can't go wrong
can't.
with someone who portrayed someone that was in love with their brother.
Yeah.
Did they?
Gross Point Blank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's like his handler, and has this weird like sexual attraction to him.
no,
She's pretty
she
great.
doesn't.
No, she's good in High Fidelity though.
You're
When she
mistaken.
comes
Of
in
course she
and yells at him, he's like, "You
Ali, I think it is.
asshole!"
Watch it
and then
again.
just leaves.
I mean, shout out to Bunny and Ducky. I know they're kind of the easy joke, but
But they were great.
They cracked me up.
It worked.
You crazy?
It could have easily not worked, but it was
Yeah.
Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ollie.
My favorite
Keanu.
character is Bo Peep.
Bo Peep, yeah.
I think they did something which I didn't think they would be able to do that successfully and so quick of a time, which is in the opening scene, establish her significance
Yeah.
and really kind of show what kind of character she is.
Yeah.
Like her giving the side glance to Woody kind of as like a thing of encouragement, like you can do this, like being that supportive role. So like you got a really good sense of like how important this person is to Woody, not just from like kissing him all over the face during like Toy Story 1, which is like their most interaction. Or
May I
whatever.
add an addendum? It's not really a supporting role. It's more of like she's still a leader, but then she's also nurturing because she's also
Sure.
leading by example.
Yeah.
Because that's the fucking thing that he has to learn at the end of the movie.
Yeah, when she like popped open her skunk and started talking about everything, I was just like this is a candy store.
Her
stuff.
what? I'm just kidding.
Like
It sounded like you just made up a new phrase.
Yeah.
Like when you just pop open your skunk, like
just pop
is that what the
open-
kids
Dude,
are saying?
I
I'm
said
not-
something akin to Operation. I don't know what.
I
word
pop my
said.
skunks to you all the time. You don't do anything about it.
Anyway.
Side character.
So yeah, she favorite character, side character is probably going to be one of the dummies.
One of them?
All
Any of them.
All any of them.
Okay.
What is it,
I was going to
Benson?
say.
Benson. Let's go with
Benson.
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 Tom?
Bo Peep, favorite. She's the main character to me. The whole movie should have been about her. And the side character is Buzz. And that's sad to say because Buzz fucking is the reason why the franchise started.
Yep.
But I liked it because he was the Woody of the movie. He was the one that wasn't trying to be AWOL and do stupid things, not for the service of the kid.
Yeah.
He was the one that's like, we got to do what we got to do to serve the kid. And Woody's like, I'm going to make it my personal vendetta, but I'm going to call it. It's because of the kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think Tom Hanks obviously gets a lot of love, which he just fucking deserves.
Yeah, he does.
But also, I do love my chauvinistic, red-blooded, conservative TV show, Last Man Standing, Tim Allen. As much as I don't agree with the viewpoint.
What time is it? It's Joel time.
Oh, but Last Man Standing. Okay, nope, it's not the episode. But yeah, I love Buzz Lightyear. I fucking had the toy. I loved it. I like him, and I liked his growth has changed, or his development is good. So, it's
good.
Buzz.
Good.
Good. Now with the qualms.
Qualms.
May I
Yes.
May I start? Like I said, this whole movie should have been about Bo Peep. It should have been called Another Toy Story, and it'd been a whole new franchise.
I probably would have liked it a lot.
and just been about lost toys, and it's Bo Peep leading a fucking caravan
That
of
would
people.
be
That'd
dope.
be dope.
Like
yeah.
Mad Max, just be called Furiosa instead.
I would
But
have
anyways,
loved that.
I to the
Call
answer,
it Peep Show.
We can just chime in.
Oh
Corey.
my God.
or
Oh
not.
my God.
Hey,
So many implications.
Speaking of which, that's a really great British comedy show. Anyway,
as Josh likes to say, I'm sorry everyone that had to hear that. But to Corey's point at the beginning, it's like it's a why movie. It's like, why did this have to get made? Because all the arcs were done. The only thing I really felt like what had to happen is because they didn't answer questions of like, where did Bo Peep go?
Yeah.
Because they have the thing I don't like about this movie. It's like it's well written. It's well fucking the cohesive narrative is there, but it's like all the things that were like, oh, happened. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
value of a toy of Twerky is Buzz's story.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not trash. It's like I'm a
You
space
are
cadet.
a toy.
We're forgetting the whole plot of 2, which
Yeah.
is to
It's
extract
one and
Woody.
two.
Yeah,
So it's
again.
like, okay, well, let's extract.
the ideology being
this person.
lost is the fucking is 2, but also the ideology of like the life beyond being someone else's toy is in 2.
And 3.
Yeah, and
And
3.
3.
But it's like also it's like you have a life outside of this. It's like your Woody and Jesse show. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then the thing I also don't like, it's like, hey, you see this fucking cinematic opening with fucking saving RC? Where the fuck is RC throughout the entire
Yeah.
movie?
It's a plot
yeah,
device.
there you go.
That's one of my.
Why
qualms in
didn't they
here.
go save fucking an alien? Oh wait, they don't have the alien. Why didn't they go save a penguin? They don't have the penguin anymore. Why didn't they go save? Oh wait, all the other toys that actually matter don't matter anymore because of this movie.
And also, all the toys that matter are barely in the movie.
Yeah, and it's like the bank don't matter. Potato Head doesn't matter. And it's like, it's kind of like you can't have a Pixar movie without these actors in it. But also, it's like, is it really a Pixar movie just because you had them in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it a Toy Story movie?
Toy Story movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And those were the things that I was like really frustrating me. I'm like, oh, there has to be a point where RC comes in and does a fucking thing. Like they were rehashing the concepts without rehashing like with Avengers Endgame, they redid certain things of Avengers 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where this was like should feel the same, where they redo certain things like here's a rocket, and it's like we know what's gonna happen, and then they put it on its head.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, no, they're just gonna rehash the same themes that we've already learned.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I feel like in this weird way, I hate to feel like I'm bringing down like people who like had emotional resonance with the film, but it's kind of like I feel like they were like maybe 5 years too late on the message of like finding your value and place in a world when you're lost.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the other Disney films have already done that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, why are we redoing that with characters that we already know?
Frozen.
Yeah. Frozen, Brave, Tangled.
Yeah.
All of it's like you're taking your characters out of places and putting them in other places to find a value that's beyond the four walls that they know.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you've already done this, and it just feels like you're kind of doing this to with another character. You're skin swapping, because remember,
Because
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say they kind of there's themes of like cars and stuff.
this thing, Cars, Inside Out, Up, all of it.
And my biggest thing that I had an issue with, I don't know if you were gonna say something related to him.
We're just jumping on.
I was just jumping.
But the issue with and it took me a while to realize, I was like, okay, so this is the movie. Like this is the movie. And it was a slight disappointment that the scale of the movie was like opens it up as like, this is gonna be a road trip. We're gonna go have an adventure. It's our last road trip before like kindergarten. And then guess what where the entire movie takes place is one square of one town.
Yeah. One street.
Of one street, and it didn't become a road trip. But then at the same time, you could see Cars as like that road trip movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know like where, like if it would be too much like
Well,
Cars.
Cars is also about like that city slicker going to find American values.
Right, which is kind of what would happen if they did an
Kind of
actual
what Woody
road trip.
does with
Bo Peep.
Bo Peep.
Yeah, in a sense, it's not more of like a hey, life in the small town's great, but it's more like life
With
in
the kid is great.
Yeah, life in unknown is great.
Yeah.
Like not knowing where you belong is also a place of belonging.
Mhm.
I just felt like that was like a kind of like this is your swan song. Like this is supposed to be your swan song.
Yeah.
This felt like again, but like I said, like this could have been a Bo Peep movie and been called another Toy Story, or it should have just been called Woody
Yeah.
and not have any of the other characters
Well,
involved.
I mean, so like I said, I'm pretty conflicted because the movie itself is really well made.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's a lot of themes, really good arcs, stuff like that. If 3 hadn't happened, I probably would have loved this movie more. But as such, that's not
Or if this happened first.
not what happened. I hated Woody's story. I hate how it ended.
There's
The
more-
ending, I almost left because I was like, 3 for me was this perfect like storybook. Let's start a new life with a new kid, and everyone was together and all that kind of stuff. And so seeing Woody and Buzz, who this whole franchise has been about since I was 6, split up, even though it's his choice, didn't feel good, and I left upset. And not in, I don't think in a way that they intended.
Right.
It wasn't like a bittersweet, like, oh, he's happy now. I left being like, that's fucking bullshit. Like
I feel like
hate
it would
that.
have almost been more emotionally impactful if he decided to stay, but this time it was like a well thought out decision.
Something like that.
Like
yeah.
that's like the exact same decision he had to make at the beginning of the movie, except now he realizes the importance of him.
I
needing to
honestly
stay.
don't have an answer for it. I just
Yeah,
know that
I
I,
don't- yeah.
dislike it.
I want to say there's almost like a surface level reason of like I think why they made the movie. It's because in 2 and 3 they kind of really ship Buzz and Jesse together.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that there's something
did.
going on
Yeah.
between them.
Well,
But then-
mostly 3.
yeah, and
There's
then
2 even,
and Woody
sorry.
always had Bo Peep, but then they never answered that question. So it's kind of like, what happened to Bo Peep? Why isn't Woody going to be happy? But then like
But
Woody's whole story.
I didn't need that story.
Yeah, and but the thing is, like, you've weaved this trilogy in a way where it's like it's not about the relationship for Woody. It's always been about the kid. And the thing is, this movie starts off with like Woody being in the same place as 1, where it's like I'm not the most important anymore, and new hilarity is going to ensue. Where it's
Yeah.
like, well, you weren't the most important, but Buzz was, and you had to convince Buzz that he was a toy for Andy. But now
Right.
that he has Buzz and Jesse, and it's like you're still not over it.
Yeah. I didn't like the losing the voice box. Like that bugged me.
I
was
like
fine with that.
Okay.
okay.
But for me, it's like it's such a hallmark trademark kind of thing of Woody that for me, like the 6-year-old me, it was very upsetting. Like
Or literally tearing your character apart.
I wasn't like, oh, that's so sweet. I was like, like why?
Well,
what's the? Yeah, go
What I
ahead.
was gonna say was like I liked it only because of it's a dissection of Woody's character, and the
For
thing
sure.
is, it's like it's what Zack Snyder said about
Kind of
Superman.
literal.
It's what
It is.
Zack Snyder said about Superman. It's like no one likes Superman when you just dissect him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because like and that's what thing would happen with a frog or a joke. You can't be alive if you dissect it. And it's like you're dissecting character like Woody's psyche, which we thought was resolved, but it's not.
I mean,
And-
all these things are saying like I understand why they happen in the film,
Yeah.
plot wise, story wise,
me,
arc wise. It's just that I didn't
Well,
need them or want them.
all I'm saying is like it's a good thought exercise, but I didn't need to see it.
Right.
You know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's exactly my point. It's like to Tom says this all the time. It's like up to us whether or not we want to engage with the film. And I went in trying to figure out the reason for these things happening, like him losing his voice box, staying behind, all that kind of stuff. And I couldn't. It wasn't enough for me to warrant a pass on any of them. Like I got it, and I was like, okay, cool. I don't agree with it. And it's just it left me sad, like upset the whole time that this is where the franchise could end. Is everyone split up?
Versus everyone
Woody's
together.
broken. He
with the
doesn't
new
have all his
kid.
pieces. Like that's where we're gonna end this.
And
Cool.
like I said, like it feels like this movie was they're trying to just like let's do a postmodernist take on things that our values that we have.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah,
but why with these characters?
yeah, and
You know, it's kind of it's what happened with Luke Skywalker. It's like let's fucking make him dark. It's like not Luke though.
but like this is what like to your point here. That's like I felt like this movie was. I mean, it's darker than most of the film. Like
It
the
is
humor
a lot
was very
darker.
different for me. Like the Key and Peele stuff didn't land at all.
It became excessive for me.
I don't think I laughed at anything in this movie. I don't think anything struck. It wasn't the same kind of humor from 1, 2, and 3 for me. It was a very different humor, and maybe it's just not my style.
Well, because it's punchline humor versus Woody going, "God, boss, we gotta go do this."
yeah,
thing."
like I missed the silliness of some of it, and I didn't feel like there was a
miss
whole
that,
lot
yeah.
of it. Like I don't think Woody's silly at all in this film. I don't think there's one thing he said that was funny.
He doesn't have a burn mark on his
kinda,
head.
Yeah, he's kind of somber.
Through this
Yeah.
whole movie,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because like he was one of I think out of I mean you're a Buzz Lightyear guy. I was a Woody guy the whole time. Like Woody was my favorite. Through
They
all
had
three
they had
films.
hilarity around him a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
Buzz
Like-
was Woody.
Yeah, right.
him
That was
dragging-
another thing. One of my qualms is that everyone's kind of tossed to the side besides Woody and Bo. And I know that's the kind of like you said, it's the story of Bo really and Woody. But like to me, when I go see a Toy Story movie, I
It's
want to see the
Woody and
toys.
Buzz.
Like I want to see them interacting, or like even Woody and Buzz mostly. Yeah, but like even Potato Head and Rex and Slinky, like
Well, I mean,
they get a grand total
Well,
of
and
4 minutes of screen time for all of them.
I mean, in this one, I felt like something that really bothered me was like the relationship between Woody and Buzz. It was so
It's almost
Backseat.
non-existent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was backseat, and I was like,
Your
wait.
best friend jumped out a window and you haven't seen him for 3 days.
And
A little more
these
urgency.
two characters were the characters. Like, yeah, we had all these lovable characters that we loved,
and you redshirt
and that
him.
we've loved for years and years and years.
You
And
redshirt 'em?
these are the duo.
Yeah.
This is the duo of Toy Story, and Buzz Lightyear felt like
Buzz Lightyear was
felt like
he was
it
a running joke.
Yeah, he
they have
didn't even
4
feel
minutes,
serious.
They have 4 minutes of screen time together as well, which is like insane.
Is that
It's around there. It's like something between 4 to 6 minutes total of them
Wow.
both on screen. Otherwise, they're separate. Even on the heist, they're separate.
Wow.
He's with like the stuffed animals and Woody's somewhere else. So like,
Yeah.
I just think this missed the mark for me on a lot of things that I come to expect from a Toy Story movie, and that ending left me real pissed.
Kaylin,
So-
any qualms before we just keep going on?
I just didn't like. The only things I weren't super fond of is that
There was a speckle on his hair.
well, no, just that they set some stuff up and then kind of tossed it. Like the dust bunny, I really liked the dust bunny. I was very fond of the dust bunny, and then when it like went poof, I was like, wait, why? It was really there.
One thing that they did, which is like, again, it's we're dissecting Toy Story in a sense, and it's like we're talking about a movie about toys, but it's like so far in the franchise, they've done a really, 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 really good job of making sure that,
Well, that-
no one knows that the toys exist or like are sentient. But this one, they're like, throw that out of the window for every plot.
They're flying
convenience as
through a
possible.
crowd
Yeah.
over things.
Well, it's
and,
like, okay, now just say your word.
Yeah.
Now you be the GPS. Now you can release dust bunnies off you. It's
Yeah.
like, if you got like stomped on, you got stomped on. If you have a burn mark, you have a burn mark. Like the only person that fixed Woody up was the fucking guy who stole him.
Yeah.
Al's toy barn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, you get damaged, you're damaged forever.
Right, right.
And it's like, but this
That
is
was the
like,
whole point of Sid's creations. Was
Yeah.
that was that.
which are fucking dope.
Yeah.
Now that I'm an adult, I'm like,
Terrifying.
Those are metal.
That's another thing. Like in 3, they like even completed his arc. Sid's arc, he's a garbage man in 3, which was fucking awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that kind of irritated me because I was like, oh well, there it goes. Like now, it's very non-plausible. Before, like I loved that idea as a kid, where it's like my toys are doing stuff when I'm at school.
Yeah.
But then and then when I come back home, they'll still be on the floor, and my mom will still beat my ass.
Oh.
But then now it's
Wow.
like, no, they'll be in separate places, and it's a little creepy. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I also thought it was doing a disservice to the parents when like the GPS is obviously like loading and not working, and he's looking at it. Like if it was anybody, they would have just immediately
over or
pulled over
something,
and been
yeah.
like, whoa, this is not working.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think they were going to, and then they pulled on the gas.
Right.
There is one joke that I did like, actually, is the fucking unicorn that wanted to murder.
Yeah. He's going to jail.
I was like, yeah, holy
That was
shit.
funny. He kept saying it.
No, we are not making Dad go to jail.
Any other qualms?
I only had a couple.
Yeah, but I'm done.
Forky, his shtick I didn't get.
really?
Him
I
being
really-
want to be trash?
The trash thing, I never got it. And his kind of not redemption, but realization of like, and it like the internal joke of like he's making fun of Buzz for, oh, that's so crazy. And it's like, you're basically the Buzz Lightyear in this story of learning
worse.
that you're a toy. And I just, like when he first got, like I was kind of excited. I was like, oh, this will be an interesting, no, he didn't land. Like for you, you're saying like the Key and Peele, Ducky and Bunny didn't land for you. They landed for me. Forky didn't land for me
Same.
at all. Where I was like, a couple of his jokes, I was like,
favorite character,
ha, ha,
Caitlin,
ha.
I
is
love it.
garbage.
No, I love it too.
Well,
He is.
yeah, actually, yeah, he's trash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, but I love the actor that plays him.
Yeah.
But just the
Going to
jokes, I was
Animal.
like, the thing about comedy
Lucille.
nowadays that I feel like they're trying to do is that it, unfortunately, and this, I feel shitty for saying this, is that there's a lot of forcing, is that they're really trying to force this to be funny.
Did you laugh yet, you fuck?
This
Here's
is
the
funny.
thing. Like the issue the core issue that I had with this was kind of along what I've already said, but like,
Then why are you saying it? No, I'm just kidding.
well, there's more to it
Wow.
where it feels like everything that happened in this, well, most of everything that happened in this is like a B plot to some epic thing that we never got.
Yeah.
Like going
Yeah.
back to Andy.
Yeah, like that, like the antique store thing should have been like a second act gag. And
It's
then
like
move
it's
on.
like it's like Zurg.
Yeah.
It's very Zurg.
It's like because they had to they like it's very obviously like this is the second act. We're just gonna go back there again and do similar things for the third act. It's like, okay, so we're just gonna stay here in this carnival area for the whole thing. That was my moment where I was like, okay, this is the movie.
At least with the second film where they did that, it was a toy store, which is interesting in a toy movie.
Yeah.
To have
Other
all the
toys.
aisles come to life at night, which is insane.
I
That was cool.
also adding that, it's kind of like, again, it's the, and I think I remember correctly. I'm sorry, I'm going to paraphrase it, but I remember the press release for this movie. And they were like executives or social media managers were like, Toy Story 4 is a story about characters, yada yada. But they were really harping on like Bo Peep has always been a strong character, and it's not something that
No.
we should like try to be pandering about. And like that was a really big deal, and people were fucking talking about it for a while. And it just kind of irritated me about like they worked really hard to make sure that everyone knew that like Toy Story had always thought Bo Peep was like such a pivotal character, but it kind of feel like you're kind of riding on that wagon now versus like making her pivotal. Because like to me, I was like, oh, no more Bo Peep. Here's Jessie. Jesse's going to be your female lead hero, and she becomes a sheriff at the end of this movie. But it's like, shouldn't she have been the sheriff in the third movie? But anyway,
She could have been the star. She could have been the lead in this
she
one.
could have been the lead in this one, and then it could have been Jessie's story, and she would have been the new Woody, and then Bo Peep. But you know what? Never mind. We're gonna just use the IP that we have because we're Disney.
Yeah.
You're gonna fucking cry and give us your money.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
That did
Those
happen.
things
And Josh is
happen.
gonna give the money twice.
Yeah, that did happen.
Hey, my friends asked me if I wanted to go. I said, yeah.
Yeah.
my last qualm, and it's just a logic thing. It's a thing that for some reason, I just kept going, but why? How?
Marijuana.
How? It's the logic of it's the logic of what toys can speak and not. Like the whole Gabby, like her voice box, and like I kept asking myself,
Isn't she
but the
using it right now?
ventriloquist dolls, they can't talk because their voice is just
Right.
it's kind of like
That
you go,
made sense.
oh, I get that.
Yeah.
It's like, but that, like one of the dinosaur inside the like club, inside the the machine, his mouth was always open because that's how he was made and that's how he talked. He didn't.
Yeah, he was like,
when he,
over there.
yeah. And so it was the logic of that I was like,
Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because there's a penguin in the second film that has his mouth open the entire time because that's how he's made. Sings and talks fine.
yeah. So it's just a logic thing that I was like, I feel like you're drawing attention to it kind of, but not explaining it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean,
maybe that's a weird thing to focus on, but
for a lot of these, they kind of stopped just short of having to give it
Follow
like
the
real
rules.
logic. And
Yeah.
following rules.
Which
being
was the
like,
awesome part of the first
for the sake
movie
of like the
especially.
comedy of it or whatever.
Yeah.
can you
But
imagine how creepy
We
if it was?
appreciate it more when it's done
If
Cleverly.
Gabby couldn't speak throughout the whole film.
because her voice box damage.
Then
Like-
she would be like in.
And she just had that old
Us.
doll, like creepy, like
No. That's done.
that. I would have
You
been
know
like,
what would
I
have
get
been
it.
cool? What if her voice box was broken, but the dummy, she could speak through the ventriloquist dummy?
No.
That would be amazing.
I don't like this, Corey.
Because that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
he can't like speak his own thoughts.
Oh my
but
God, this
it's
would be
all
a
hers.
horror movie. I would not have gone to see that.
It might have been
Loved
actually
it.
a risk.
toy horror
Would've been-
story,
right?
No.
Yeah, it would've been
Horror.
Toy
Would
Would that have fixed that for you, Josh?
But
Maybe.
then,
Yeah.
but
No.
then, no, but Kaylin, because you're not remembering the first one when he sees Sid's toys. It's
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
really
creepy.
fucking scary. And then also when you see the
And
miner
they're nice.
in the fourth one or in the second one, it's really scary.
Yeah.
Like
The
there-
prospector.
the prospector. There
When he
has
goes
to,
apeshit.
the thing is, there has to be some value to horror in a drama or a comedy because it makes everything else feel earned.
Yeah.
It feels earned to have gone through the crucible of what you've been through.
Mhm.
You know, get out of that place. But
There
it's like
was-
if there's no
there was-
horror, then who gives a shit? It's a
There
nice
was enough
antique
scary
store.
though.
Yeah.
There was enough scary with just the ventriloquist dolls. That was
Without
enough
that,
for me.
the scariest people would have been fucking the Ducky and Bunny.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
what
The
if
laser eyes.
What if Benson she spoke through Benson, but then you find out like he's a good guy and helps him out in the end and can't talk because he doesn't have his own voice. But
Oh, so he's
wouldn't-
fucking hocus pocus?
Wouldn't that be like a super like Toy Story 1 moment thing though?
Yeah.
Like flip that on his head. He's actually a nice guy and he's like, like handing them something, like Spirited Away, like,
Yeah.
No face.
and they're like, for, whatever,
Huh?
something.
Huh?
Our
Terrifying.
rating,
Yeah.
unless anything
Yeah,
else.
no. I mean, no.
I'm gonna throw this movie to the ground.
So first it's either Kaylin or Josh.
Josh.
I'm gonna give this a 4.5.
There you go.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. The things that I mentioned weren't enough to ruin the experience for me. I'll be real here. When it comes to the 3 Toy Stories, 2 and 3, I'm not
gonna throw
tell
this
you.
mic that our fucking viewers and patrons.
Unfortunately,
got
it's
us.
like I know that they were good movies. Toy Story 1, I hold at a really high level, and this one, it didn't ruin the experience. Like it just
Yeah.
didn't like it.
You
Yeah,
weren't
there's
bogged down with
qualms. There's
the-
things that I go,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, I get that. But for me, it's about the experience, and I give it a 4.5 experience. It was fun.
Kaylin?
I enjoyed it a lot.
I give it a 4.8
There you go.
because I liked the
Wow.
movie, and even if other people might call it something like trash, I think it's
Trash?
cozy and warm.
I don't think anyone's
one
calling
call
it
it trash.
trash.
I know.
No, she wanted to make the cozy and warm truck.
I
Ninety
just
didn't call
wanted
it
to say
trash.
cozy and warm.
Yeah.
She wanted to make the cozy and warm
Ollie
truck.
or Tom?
Corey's like, I don't care.
I agree with you.
Josh always
Okay.
makes you go to first. So do you want me to go first this time?
Yeah, do
Are
it,
we
Tom.
both the
Yeah,
same?
Yeah.
you guys
Okay,
both
go.
have 1 vote.
4. Solid 4. It's good enough to be like, look, when I get the Toy Story collection, I'll have it.
Yeah.
It's CGI is fucking off the scale, off the wazoo. In 20 years, we'll see what happens. But it's like, yeah, everything looks fucking really beautiful. But the narrative and where we're going with it, fucking threw it out of any reach of a 4.5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other ones felt like it was progressing to something, and this one was like, now we're progressing to destroy it all and leave you alone with it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna burn this antique store to the ground.
Oh.
Ditto.
Four.
What Tom said.
Oh.
4.1.
Oh wow.
Oh.
It's that
I
translated.
guess right.
My
Yeah.
currency is worth a little less than yours.
The
Well,
exchange rate
0.1
is different.
Yeah,
Well, it's because
slightly.
you like Disney a little bit more than
I do, exactly.
0.1 more.
So like I said, I'm very conflicted. I've thought about this number a lot.
We'll just go halfway, right?
Well,
1.5
there's
or
a lot of
5.1.
things that want me to, like I said, it's a well-made movie, and it looks gorgeous, and it's well acted, and the arcs are there.
Can't take away from the actors,
I
obviously.
just don't agree with the arcs, and they're not things I enjoyed. So with all that said, and being like opposite of yours, like 2 and 3 did affect me. In
Ladies
such a
and
way.
gentlemen
3,
from home, debuting the lowest score we'll ever have on Nerd.
3 was such an impactful movie for me that I watched it 3 days once for 3 days in a row,
And you
and
cried
I
every
cried
time.
every fucking time because
Wow.
it was such a visceral thing for me that I had grown up since I was 6 till I was like 21 with these toys.
If I may, it has a really perfect like birth, life, death feel.
yeah,
You know, it's
Yeah.
like this
and
is
that it
the
felt like a
passing.
good place to close it. And where this ended with Woody and Buzz being separate and everyone doing what they're doing. 2.4.
oh.
I think that is Corey's lowest score.
I think
Probably.
it's the lowest we've had on.
No,
Nerd
it's
On.
not.
No,
it's not.
Fucking, he gave
Thanks
it like
to-
he
Oh,
gave
yeah.
something like a 1 something.
He
That's
gave
true.
Dark Phoenix 1.8.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
that's true.
Way to go, Ollie.
Oh.
Proud
And
of it.
That's tough. I mean,
It's not low
somewhere
enough.
between a 2.4 and a 3 because it's tough because it is a good looking movie and like it's acted really well.
Yeah,
all
and
that
that's
stuff.
something
the
I do
score is
wanna-
great.
Yeah.
Like,
Like if it was another
but I just
IP.
left. Yeah, if it was another IP, it would be like a 4 or something. But I just left feeling sad and bad.
I do want to reiterate that I think this movie looks freaking phenomenal. It's the best computer generated movie I probably have seen, I think. They just didn't do enough for you to really to show it off, but everything looked amazing, and like you said, the writing, the narrative, everything is really well done.
but
It
just not for
it
these characters.
it just-
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Which
So-
yeah, I don't.
It's like Charlie's Angels go to space. Why these characters?
I just didn't expect to leave a Toy Story movie wanting to like go home and eat ice cream and
Be sad about
Because
it.
the
I'm
thing
just
is-
really
did
sad.
that,
I'm sad.
but
Well, no,
Yeah.
I'm really sad.
Because 3 leaves you
And not-
sad, but then it's because it's the end of an era sad.
Yeah,
It's not because it's
but I
sad.
felt good.
But it gives you hope at the end. and
But I
stuff,
felt
and-
good at the end of that. Like I felt really great.
At the end of this
Happy
one,
cry.
At the end of this one, it's kind of telling you it's like it's okay to be lost, even though it's not really
I
lost.
felt like I had mud on my hands, Tom. At the
I
end
get.
of this
I think
movie.
what I'm gonna
Grease.
what I'm gonna say is I do not mean this in a bad connotation.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take it personally
This-
now.
Yeah.
This does have baggage for you.
For sure.
It's,
I mean, but
and it's not bad stuff. It's like you have brought this along with you for your life. Like this does
Well, you
have
can't
baggage
go
for
into
you.
a
Bit more
sequel
than
of a
that.
movie without any baggage,
Yeah.
because then
Yeah.
you do a disservice to the entire franchise.
Yeah.
So I have baggage in the sense that yes, I've watched the
Yes,
other movies,
they've been able to establish and set up
and
the
I
quality
don't.
of
I
their
don't
work.
think this is a good movie to end it on. That's all.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
that's why I said in the pre-roll. or at the
So in
beginning,
Toy
I
Story
said-
5,
that's why I said like
There.
the final installment question mark?
transferred 10 years.
But also, why would they do it, and what are they going to
Hey,
do?
this might be the next Land Before Time.
No! Don't you do that to my chomper!
Sorry.
And Littlefoot and Ducky and Spike and anyways. That was it. I guessed right. You patrons guessed wrong, but it's okay. We still love you. You're still welcome.
I was pretty in the middle. Wasn't I?
Also, patrons give you a
Yeah.
pro
So you're
tip.
below
Pro
me too.
tip. Ollie will never rate a Disney movie low.
That's a great pro tip.
It is a great pro tip.
That's
They can
probably
make
a
Dark
really
Phoenix animated garbage, and then he'd be like,
You
"It's
could
Disney,
probably-
though."
I feel
spent money
like
on it.
I
That's
also
the limit.
misled with I posted a picture of Ollie and Josh like standing all cool guy in front of these Toy
Josh
Story
is
guys
4
fucking crying.
Yeah.
posters, and I made it sound like Josh and I cried like a ton, and then Ollie was like stone faced
You
through the
did.
whole thing.
I was like, I wasn't.
Look, I mean, I think by
stoned.
that point we had all our votes in already. Which
That's
I
is
true.
actually
good,
did
but-
get. I did tear up at the beginning
at the rain and how
at the
beautiful
rain
it was.
Well, okay.
because of the baggage,
the swelling of the music.
how much I cared about the characters after
oh,
3.
oh, okay.
Well, I mean,
And
I'll say
then-
like this: all the emotional stuff hurts because they will hurt no matter what. Like it doesn't matter if these
Yeah.
were like Mike and Sully.
Could be anything.
It didn't matter if it was the Incredible Family. Like the messages you're telling they hurt. They're resonating with everyone. It's like, yeah, life is going to go on without you, and like you're not going to be along to the same person. That's a universal constant. And if it happens to a character, then who cares? Like this could have been characters that we're never grown up with, and so like yeah, it's all going to hurt. But it's like, but these are characters who already know that
Yeah.
they were out there
They've
as a
gone
kid.
through the journey.
Like I don't know. It's tough because it's like I did like that small inclination of like, he's not Andy or she's not Andy. It's like, oh, let's go with the fucking psychological shit with fucking Woody and like, let's just go a fucking Legion TV show with Woody and like, let's go in his brain and shit. But it's like, no, let's just have him get stomped and he inflates his head.
Oh yeah.
It's hollow.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. The toy is.
Which is funny because the actual toy is too. It's like a rubber hollow.
It's rubber head, yeah.
Yeah.
You can pop
Creepy.
it off.
I could never have any of those toys.
Hilarious.
I
Are
always
we-
think they're alive.
I feel complete.
Also,
Yeah.
hold on, one more qualm. No,
Oh my
there
goodness.
was no snake in my boot.
Nope.
Oh,
There was
All
no.
right.
It's like a new line,
There was a bunch of weird
yeah,
shit
I had
lines.
I
never-
noticed that.
which bugged me
A lot
too.
of
I was like,
retreat
why the fuck
lines.
haven't we heard that in
All of
20
the-
years?
No, that was Buzz. He had all the
No, but Buzz
defensive
was only
retreat
pressing one
lines.
button. That was irritating to me. I was like, you
Yeah.
have three.
They
you have
all
three
did
buttons.
the same thing though. I had the toy. They
Yeah,
all did
so
the
did
same
I,
thing.
but it's like press
So,
the other ones.
What's it gonna do?
Well, everybody at home, thank you so much for listening, for watching. What did you think of Toy Story 4? Who did you think was going to be the grump?
Was
Were
your
you the
favorite
grump?
toy?
Were you?
It's okay
That's
if you were
okay.
wrong.
You're
Don't
welcome
worry.
here too.
Did you have any of these toys growing up? Do
Yeah.
you want the toys? I still would want to buy the toys.
I wanted both, and I never got either.
Wow.
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 Way
They're
to
for
bring
sale
that
again right
down.
now.
They're probably 300%
Yeah,
price.
it's not the original though, is it? It's some weird design.
No,
No,
they're,
No,
They're
actually,
like
it's very,
just a
very close.
re-released of the original ones.
Always
Oh,
like,
Buzz Lightyear team is still
Okay.
Ollie's going to leave here and go to the nearest Toy Story.
Yep. Toy
Toy
Story.
just so he
Store.
could buy fucking Forky.
Good catch.
Wow.
Toy Store. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and watching. And do us a favor. Subscribe on the Apple Podcast, on the YouTubes. Review us. That actually helps.
A lot.
Believe it or not, that
Yes.
does help.
A whole lot.
Those reviews count.
Makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
To our hearts.
That helps.
But yeah, share us with your friends, your family. If you are new to Nerd On, welcome. You can
Hi.
check us out, nerdon.tv. Check out our fancy schmancy website, and you can get all the information on all of our other shores.
Shores. Jersey Shore.
Alabama Shore.
Yeah.
In which
Wow.
we talk about thematic themes.
Alabama landlocked.
Yeah.
And no, we've got the Nerd On Update, which is every week as well, where we talk nerdy news that excites us and answer questions from our listeners like you and from our patrons. If you want to submit questions, send an email to the internet email, as Ollie calls it,
The internet email.
to questions@nerdon.tv. And if that wasn't enough, we have Trope Time once a month, hosted by our friends Izzy and Nizzy.
No.
Wow.
You gotta say these
were so
things.
close.
No, you gotta get them clear because you only get one information. You gotta look in the mic. You say, "I'm not wearing a hockey pants."
Why?
I'm gonna stop talking.
That was really
and I'm
good.
just gonna
Nikki
say,
and Izzy.
Nikki and Izzy.
Nikki and Izzy.
No, our friends Nikki and Izzy.
Our friends Nikki and Izzy.
Yeah, that's all, folks.
Yep. On that, you know the drill. As always,
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.